Happy Monday. Welcome to From the Nosebleeds. I'm Joey Gunnar here with Trent Finnegan. Before we get started, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. What a fun weekend, especially if you're a Broncos fan. If you're a Texans fan and watching this show, you're probably not having a great weekend. But oh my goodness, the Broncos did it again. They pulled off another late fourth quarter comeback to win a game. They cannot be stopped in the fourth quarter. They look like the best team in the league, but this win did not feel good. I feel like we took, 2 steps forward against the Cowboys and then a couple steps backward in this game against the Texans. It was a really poorly executed game on a lot of sides, a lot of different ways that you look at it. Poorly executed for the Broncos, but they still pulled out the win. Their perseverance is incredible. What a great game we got to witness because of the final score, but during the game, it was not very much fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a defensive bloodbath. That's what we said it would be going into. This isn't the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is terrible. The Cowboys defense makes Bo Nix look like the greatest quarterback of all time. This was more of a reality check for this Broncos team. They had to get this one out of the mud. And you're right, there was a handful of miscues, especially on special teams. You had the blocked field goal, which may or may not have been a leverage call that got missed. I guess they only call it that against the Broncos.
Yeah.
you had the punt where Michael Bandy, who's only in because Darren Rizzi didn't sub out Marvin Mims late in the Cowboys game, gets a concussion. So now you have Bandy in. He muffs a punt that he should have just had a Peter call and let go. You have the late hit 15-yard penalty. You have a 45-yard punt return. All those are just special teams miscues.
Yep.
Those are just the special teams miscues. And it handed Houston a couple of free field goals. And this defense did a great job of bend but don't break. They got that huge goal line stuff on 4th and 1. There were plenty of times where Houston had to get 1 yard. And every Broncos fan I know was just sitting there 100% confident in that defense to get a stop. And here's my thing, too. Davis Mills is not good. Davis Mills is not a good quarterback. You have to play against whoever, the 11 guys who are lined up on the other side, you have to play against them no matter what. If CJ Stroud plays that whole game, I think it's a bit different of a story because Davis Mills cannot move the football at all on this Broncos defense. But they had to come back again. They're down 8 in the fourth quarter. Offense struggling most of the game, and they showed poise once again. And things go wrong, but when you have a team with this clutch trait that Bo Nix has, that this defense has, that these receivers have, you can't look past that. That's what wins you important football games in January, and it seems like this team has it definitely.
Yeah, no, the bad teams lose this game. The good teams win this game. So the Broncos separated themselves. We've seen it all season. The Broncos have been separating themselves from the bad teams and the good teams because good teams lose these close games. Good teams lose these games, or good teams win these games when they're down in the fourth quarter. They put up 33 points in the fourth quarter. This is a team that can come back from any deficit, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the circumstances are. This team can come back. But really the reason that they were in a situation like this is, again, because of how poorly the special teams unit operated during a lot of different phases of the game. And Darren Rizzi is on the hot seat right now because it was not a great performance from him. Is this something where you see a change coming soon?
I don't know, because he's Sean Payton's. He's good friends with Payton. That's why he got brought in. The Broncos last year, their special teams were good, but they had that one miscue on the block against the Chiefs that cost them that game. And, all of a sudden, special teams coordinator is out. Sean Payton's best friend, Darren Rizzi, comes in. And now we have miscue after miscue after miscue. It's clear that a change is needed. This is probably the weakest spot of this team so far through 9 weeks. But I'm not convinced it's going to happen because loyalty, friendship, connections, whatever you want to call it, those hold a lot of weight, and I don't think that Payton's going to give up on Rizzi anytime before February.
It sounds like we're talking about like a kids show, something you could watch on Cartoon Network or Disney Channel. Friendship is the thing that holds it all together. Nah, it's not how it works. It's the same kind of thing we're talking about with Deion Sanders over there in Boulder. You can't just keep these guys around because they're your buddies. This has been a terrible performance. This is one of those games where it's like, okay, you're lucky that we were able to pull out this win, Darren, because that was poor. That was really, really poor. But you know who else was poor? And this sucks to say, Bo Nix. He did not have a good game by any means. Take a look at his stats right here. They were not great. I mean, you're looking at the numbers here. 18 of 37, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, which were great. I mean, one going to RJ Harvey, one going to Cortland Sutton, both great touchdowns. And of course, you had the one that went to for the 2-point conversion. I believe it was Troy Franklin that caught the 2-point conversion. So he looked good in certain phases of the game, but overall, that's not great. I mean, 1 interception, 35, I believe it was, rushing yards, maybe 36 rushing yards. Not great. Not great overall from him. And you want to see better from your franchise guy. This is the franchise guy. You know, you're hoping that you're not wanting to move off of him, but those don't look like franchise numbers to me. Am I being too hasty here? Like, those don't look like a franchise number.
Not at all. And that should be 2 picks. He threw that deep ball into triple coverage on the post that got dropped. It should be 2 picks. There was one point he was 4 for 12, and then it was like 5 for 15. I get it. I get that he looked great against the Cowboys, and he looked great in the 4th quarter against the Giants. That's the Cowboys and the Giants.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, it's go out and play good against a good team like a Houston defense who ranks number 1 and everything. When Steve Spagnuolo comes to town in 2 weeks with that Chiefs defense, he's going to throw everything at him. And the big thing to me was, especially late, he was bailing on stuff. There was a 2nd and 3rd down sequence on that second to last drive with about like 3 minutes left in the game, where he catches the snap, instantly bails, and Cortland Sutton is sitting right over the middle, wide open, and he would have been able to run for a first down. 3rd down, he's got RJ Harvey out to the left. That's his hot call. If the blitz is coming from the left, that means that guy's not going to be manned up on RJ Harvey. You just have to dump it and let him go. Instead of seeing that, he just bails to the right. It's stuff like that he's not doing against the good teams, where now he's 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage running for his life, and he's going to have to throw the ball away. So you need to see better stuff from him. And yes, the throw to Sutton on the touchdown was a great throw. The throw before it to Evan Ingram, he missed him, who was way more open than Sutton was. That was a touchdown. The throw to Sutton should have never happened. So he's had good moments. I do think that they need to run him more. His running unlocks the offense.
I would 100% agree. Yeah.
They wait until the 4th quarter. We got a comment from Matthew in here, and he hits it. He hits the nail on the head. He doesn't use his legs till the 4th quarter, whether that's he's not scrambling or they're not running these design runs. They ran that sweep for him on the last play of the game before the field goal, put him in great position. So they need to use his legs more, and he needs to stand tall in the pocket more. He's bailing way too fast on some of these, and I get it. There's pressure in your face. These really good NFL quarterbacks stand tall, take the hit, and deliver the throw on time and pick up 5 or 6 yards. They're not running for their life 15 yards backwards every single time somebody pressures them.
100%. Yeah, the running is a big part of that. I mean, he was 3 rushes for 36 yards, 12 yards per carry. Those are great numbers. I don't know why they don't go to that earlier in the game, or, you know, set up regular run plays to start the play action, and on the play action, give them the option to scramble on those, because that's easy yards for somebody as fast and as versatile as Bo Nix. But there's just something that's not clicking. You know, we saw it last season too. It didn't really connect with him. Like, it looked like he didn't know how to play football for the first 4 weeks of his rookie year. You know, so it didn't look like he knew what he was doing right away. Is this something we just have to get used to? Like, it just takes him a little bit longer, but now we're in week 9. What's the excuse? 9. Like, I'm trying to come up with excuses for myself, because I love Bo Nix. Me criticizing, saying that isn't the franchise guy's numbers. That's just me being upset, because I do believe he is the franchise guy. Of course he is. You have so much faith in this person. He's breaking records for the Broncos, or matching records that have only been set by John Elway and Peyton Manning. This is the guy. It just has to start looking like it, because it's not looking like it this season so far. It's been a bunch of different errors made, whether mentally or physically, throwing bad balls or making the wrong read, that have just held the Broncos back from being more successful. And again, we're being very critical here right now, but the Broncos are 7-2. They're tied for first in the AFC with the Colts. So they're right there. They're right there. They just need to start making these wins cleaner. They need to clean up a lot of these errors that they're having. And sure, it was special teams that really held them back in yesterday's game, made it so it wasn't as big of a win. But going up against a defense as good as Houston, you're able to throw 2 touchdowns. That's all right. You just need to be more consistent. I mean, it wasn't great overall. It wasn't great.
Yeah, and consistency is the name of the game we've been asking for. And the only game we've gotten consistency in is the Cowboys game against one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And it's just, this isn't the formula to winning football games. Like, you saw Buffalo take down Kansas City last night because they had 21 points in the first half. They're up, they're getting ahead, they're playing well on both sides of the ball. They're not playing from behind. It's great that the Broncos have 4 fourth quarter comebacks this season. It's great that they keep winning these gritty games. That is not the formula to winning football in January. And we got another comment here asking about that Eagles game from Bo Nix. Was the fourth quarter great from him? Yes. Here's the first 3 quarters: punt, field goal, punt, 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 punt. You can't have that. You cannot have that. And I get it. Fourth quarter is touchdown, touchdown, field goal on 3 long drives. That's not the formula to winning football.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not.
You can't just win the fourth quarter and expect to win every single game. I look back a couple seasons ago, and there was that Minnesota Vikings team that ended up coming back against the Bills. They had that 33-point comeback against the Colts. They were known as one of those teams that would come back every single time that they were down. They won something. They were 11-0 in 1-score games. But what happened when they went to the postseason? They lost in the first round, in the wild card round, to the Giants. That's the same kind of thing I see happening for this Broncos team. As much fun as it is to watch them come back every single game and pull out these wins, that all goes out of the window as soon as you enter the playoffs. It just completely goes out of the window. It doesn't matter anymore. Games aren't played the same way. The playoffs are an entirely different beast. This is not a type of football that they can continue to play and expect to win, especially going towards the playoffs in the latter half of the season. You have to win in a more decisive way to start really giving some confidence into not only the fans, but the team, because the team feels what it's like to be down like this, and it doesn't feel like a good win. It can't. If the team is happy, if the Broncos are happy after that win yesterday, then I've got some serious questions. I've got real serious questions. That's all that there is to it.
A lot of improvement to be had. You brought up the 22 Vikings. I like that. That's a good analogy. I also think it's like the 2020 Steelers, who were 11-0 and nobody took them seriously, and then they got bounced in the first round by the Browns.
Yeah, well, didn't they end up losing like 5 games in a row?
Yeah, they were 11-0. They finished 12-4, and then they lost to the Browns in the first game of the playoffs. And when they were 11-0, nobody took them seriously. And if this Broncos team gets to they'd be 8-2 going into Kansas City. If they lose that Kansas City game and they're 8-3, who's going to take them seriously?
Not very many people.
Not very many people. I get that they beat the Eagles, who are clearly having a bit of a regression this season with the new offensive coordinator. But if you can't beat the Chiefs at home, what makes me think that you're going to be able to beat them in the playoffs? What makes me think you're going to be able to beat Buffalo in the playoffs? Like, there's better teams.
Not only those two, but like the Patriots, the Colts, like.
You know how good Drake May looks? Drake May is what your rookie quarterback should look like halfway through his second season. Drake May is balling out right now in New England. He looks great. And there's just too much inconsistency from Bo Nix. And I get it that he's got time, but we're over the quarter century mark for games played. We're past 25 games. You got to start seeing improvements against these better teams and not 18 for 37. He's in the bottom 7 in the NFL in yards per attempt. He's throwing it short, and then he's just throwing the ball as far as he can and just hoping his guy wins a jump ball on some of these deep balls. It's not great.
Yeah. Well, there are the bad things, but to take a step back, the Broncos are 7-2. They pulled off another great fourth quarter comeback, 11 points in the fourth quarter to win a game. Great overall. You got the win. There are things to be happy about, but we're being critical because Trent and I care, right? Trent, like, we care. We want the Broncos to be good. We know that they can be good. It's just they gotta, tighten up. That's all that I can say. They gotta tighten up. They can do better, and there's a lot to be said about that because right now they're 7-2, and knowing that they can do better means that they could be, a deep playoff performing team. They could go to the AFC Championship. They could go to a Super Bowl if they played their best level of football, and we just haven't really seen that yet. We have in certain instances, against the Cowboys, but again, that's one of the worst defenses in the league, and even then, the Broncos defense didn't play as well as they were supposed to, or they could. So there's a lot of things that the Broncos could do better, but overall, being 7-2, they're in a good spot. But moving on, let's talk about some other teams in the Denver area. The Nuggets had their first NBA Cup game last Friday, and it did not end in a good way. Just to, say it in the most kind way. They lost 109-107 to the worst team in Group C in their grouping for the NBA Cup, the Portland Trailblazers, in a game that they should not have lost. It is hard for me. I'm not the kind of guy that will go criticize the refs, but this was one of those games that the refs did or had some really questionable calls late in. Not a great game for the Nuggets, and not a great game overall. With the way that the Trailblazers were playing, it shouldn't have been a game in any way. This should have been a Nuggets win.
Yeah, and Murray shot well. Murray was 9 for 15. Jokic, 21, 14, and 9. He shot well. Aaron Gordon still shot well. Cam Johnson was a plus 14, which was the best mark on the team. He only shot 3 for 7, but he's doing the little things.
Mm-hmm.
You finally saw the Valanciunas minutes. He was a minus 11 in 11 minutes, and that's what swung the game. And obviously, it's not going to be perfect every game. You're not going to get Valanciunas to be a plus 5 every game. So it stinks because you have to take advantage of these games. I know it's on the road, and they had a lead in that fourth quarter. I know that the refs, there was the call on Jokic where he catches the ball with about 8 seconds left to tie game, and he gets totally bear hugged from behind, and they call it a jump ball because Toumani Camara got his hands on the ball, which I guess works. So, but they were up 5 with the minute left. They were up 10 at the end of the third quarter. They had chances. They had plenty of chances, and they just could never hold that lead. And it's tough. And obviously the NBA Cup doesn't matter. Nobody's like, oh wow, the Nuggets aren't going to be able to raise an NBA Cup banner if they go 2-2 again. Nobody cares about that. It's taking advantage of beating the teams you're supposed to beat. So then you get wiggle room against the Oklahoma Cities, against the Clevelands, against the Houstons, and it's tough to see, Christian Brown is still struggling to find his stride, which is,
it's worrying.
You give a guy $125 million and he goes out there, he has 5 points, 3 rebounds, 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers is not what you want to see from him. You don't want to see him have the ball enough to have the chance to commit 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
You want to see him running in transition. You want to see him making cuts in the half court. You want to see him hitting spot up, catch and shoot threes. You don't, and I get it. Have him run a high pick and roll here or there. Have him bring the ball up the floor in transition. But it's just not at all what you want to see from a guy. And he shot 0 for 3 from 3.
Yeah.
It's just, and again, I'm going to keep harping on the fact that it's early, but I'm definitely starting to raise one eyebrow at the Christian Brown experience through the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah. My one eyebrow has been raised. Now I'm raising my second and going, wow, come on, CV. You can do better than that. We all know I don't need you to be out there scoring 30 points a game. I don't even need you to put up 20 points a game. But I'd love 10 on 4 for 6 instead of 2 for 6 and 0 for 3 from the 3. Another thing that came out of this Nuggets game was the fact that the streak was broken. Nikola Jokic was 1 assist away from starting the season with the most triple doubles in a row. 1 assist away, and the shot was there. He got the pass off. I forget who took the shot, but in the final minute, the shot was there, and it just did not go in. Unfortunate for Nikola Jokic. But yeah, those foul calls, you get the one Jokic tied up by Toumani Camara. Strange, really bad call. And I loved what David Adelman had to say. I don't know if you saw the presser, Trent, but he was asked, and he said, yeah, if that's the call, then that's fundamentals. I have to teach my guys that if they wrap around and touch the ball, that's a legal play. So that's something I'll teach in practice. I love that.
Great answer.
I love that so much. That's something that you have to teach in practice. If that's the call that you're going to make, then we're going to teach that. You can wrap up from behind as long as you touch some of the ball. And then there was the final moments, the 1.4 seconds left where Aaron Gordon fouls Jeremy Grant on I didn't see much of a foul there. Jeremy Grant takes a step back, and then maybe there's a little bit of contact, but you cannot call that at the buzzer. You cannot call that. I hate that so much when the refs feel the need to make the game their own. Jeremy Grant ends up going 2 for 2 at the line when he's trying to miss the second shot, gives the Nuggets a chance to inbound the ball. Aaron Gordon throws a great outlet pass to Nikola Jokic. And I don't think I've ever been more shocked at a miss from Nikola Jokic, but he gets the ball in his spot on the free throw line and just hits a little boom, boom, turnaround, throws it up. It looks like it's going in, and it just rims out. I can't remember the last time I've seen Nikola Jokic miss a shot like that, especially in the clutch. Like, he has his moment to be the guy there.
And it was contested. He's fallen. He's got the guy on his left shoulder. But, I guess it's Nuggets fans are spoiled. A lot of teams, you're like, oh, we have to go the full court in a second. We're screwed. And Nuggets fans are spoiled, I would say, because they're like, oh, like there's a better chance of the shot going in than not. He got a great look, and that's basketball.
That's basketball.
Ball rimmed out, you lose, and it sucks that you can't beat the Blazers. But that was game 5 of 82, and you move on, and you got the Kings tonight, and you just got to flush it and keep going.
Yep. Should be a good game tonight. The Kings are not a team that you really need to be too scared about, but they're definitely better than the Blazers. And it's also a fun game because Nick Clifford is back in Denver. We'll see how he plays tonight. Should be a lot of fun. I love the kid. The CSU guy, he's going to be great. He's one of those players where it's like he was drafted later in the first round, but he's going to be one of those dogs that ends up coming out of the first round. I'm excited to see how he plays tonight.
Yeah, and I was so mad when he left CU. When they brought in Cody Williams, and then he goes and balls out and leads this. I forget what the win streak was. It was like they won 21 of 25 games or something, and won the Mountain West, and it was a great story. He's so much fun to watch. So you got him, and you got Russell Westbrook in town.
Yep. I guess I probably should have led with that. I was more excited about a player that we're
I'm
all
more
happy
excited
to see.
about Nick Clifford too, because of the Colorado kid story, but you also got Russell Westbrook back too. So I'm excited to see both of them. I'm going to be there. I got a ticket for that one.
Oh, really?
So I'm excited to see what goes on. I think they should win. The Kings are a very interesting team. Their roster construction is interesting. It's not what you would expect from a championship winning team, and they're a fun playing team, but they'll go out there and fight, and Zach LaVine can drop 45 points on any given night. So we'll see what happens.
They are a fun team. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis. I feel like they've got one other playmaker there, but they've got some good players on that team. They're just one of those teams that's like, they're fun to watch. I don't know if we're going to be watching them.
Good league pass team.
Though. They are a good league pass. That's a great way to put it. I like that a lot. Now another team lost this weekend in an unfortunate fashion that we probably all could have seen coming. The Avalanche lost to the San Jose Sharks, and guess what? It was in overtime. Lost 3-2. Did anybody not expect this? As soon as they went into overtime, I actually go, okay, game's over, whatever. Just unfortunate. The Avs need to get it going in overtime, but overall, they're still playing well. They're top of their division. They're top of their conference, and guess what? They're at the top of the league right now in overall points. So they're playing well, but they need to find a way to get some of these wins going in overtime. What's the problem here, Trent? What did you see in that game?
It was, just a day Saturday game against a weird opponent. And I think, they fumbled an opportunity to win that game. You had Parker Kelly kind of gets the puck. So it was such a weird situation. Like, it's the San Jose goalie goes way out to the left to field this puck, and nobody on his team comes back to retrieve it and help him out and get the offense going. And then the goalie stumbles and he tries to go back to net, and Parker Kelly has a wide open net, and they're both on the right side trying to get back to the middle. And he just rushed it a hair and he missed it. And then the Avs got guys back, and then the next shot was saved. That was a huge swing point in this game, which was tough, but I just don't know what the overtime, this team, 3-on-3 hockey, you throw Mackinnon, Netchus, and Makar out there on 3-on-3, and you should never lose to anybody as long as you get the puck first. And they're just struggling. It's so weird. They have 5 overtime losses already. 5.
It's weird. It's weird, and that's the only way to put it. The power play wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't really a problem in that game either. You know, you go 0 for 2, whatever. A loss is a loss. You keep getting these overtime losses. They've only lost one game. I believe it's still one game in regulation. So at least they're bringing it to overtime. They're still getting points for these losses, but they've got to get something going. I mean, I don't want to be too critical because, again, they are number 1 in the league right now. They have the most points, 19 points so far. So they're playing good hockey. They just need to close games out in overtime, and it's just not happening. I expect it to change soon. But the other storyline of that game was the fact that Mackenzie Blackwood was back in the net, in between the pipes for this for the Avs, and spoil his debut. It was unfortunate. Spoil his return, I guess, is the best way to say it. Not a great performance from him. I mean, letting 3 by, but still, you know, it's your first game back. That's the only way to say it. It's your first game back. It's
first game back. Team. It's 20 saves, 3 goals allowed. It's your first game back. It's not like he's letting up 5 goals on 15 shots. Like, it's hockey, stuff happens, and then in overtime, it's a lot harder to get the save because there's more space on the ice because there's 3-on-3 instead of 5-on-5. So good to see him back. Good to see him back is how I'm going to put it. I'm excited to have him back. And he's just going to it's probably going to take him a week or so to get up to speed with, and this guy, remember, he had surgery on a lower body injury and he's on his knees sliding side to side for an hour every single game. Like, that's not easy to do as a goalie. So it's going to take him time. And again, 23 shots faced, 3 goals allowed, 870 save percentage. It's the first game back. I thought he was fine, and it'll be good to see how he continues to progress going forward. He's got a big challenge against Tampa Bay tomorrow night.
That's a big challenge. You should have been able to beat a team like San Jose, but again, first game back tomorrow is where I expect a good game from the Avs, especially in between the pipes with Mackenzie Blackwood. But let's move on to our final topic of the day. And Trent, I feel like this one might hurt you a little bit more because, again, you're a CU guy. You love the team. I guess, I don't know. Do you love this team right now? Because the Buffs look like garbage, terrible. There is no saving this team. It is over with a capital OVER. This was disgusting. They lost in a terrible fashion yesterday to Arizona. What didn't go wrong is maybe the best way to ask.
So here's what, from that game, you take the stat sheet, you crumple it up, and you throw it away. And we're going to talk about other stuff. You got to talk about, we get it. We get it. The defense is bad. We get it. Caden Salter is bad. Of course. This team, it's just, they were competitive against Georgia Tech. They were competitive against BYU. They were competitive against TCU for 3 quarters. And the muff punt changed that game. They beat Iowa State at home, and then you get this bye week, and everybody has given up. It seems that everybody has given up. The players, no players have any fight except for Julian Lewis, who comes in and plays decent on Saturday. The coaches are unprepared. The coaches are not making any adjustments. And it's just, I'm trying to think of this from a recruit standpoint. Like, oh my goodness, like, hey, like, I'm going into this dumpster fire. And there's people, and Dion said post-game, he's like, if you're a dog, you're going to come here and want to fix it. And if you're a cat, you're going to run. He keeps saying he's bringing these dogs in. And there's a couple freshmen who have been playing well, but the portal guys have been bad. Their freshman recruits have been good. These portal guys are bad, and they only have 13 freshmen coming in this next class. You need more. They are against this whole. They're so in love with hitting the portal for recruits, and all they're getting is these good good group of 5 guys. Like, you have the corner Tion Parks came from Wyoming, and he's not good. He was good at Wyoming, and then you put him in a Power 5 situation. He's not good. Or you get these Power 5 or Power 4 guys who are misfits and are trying to piece things together and are on their 3rd program. And like the Alabama D tackle, Jaheim Otis, who was the number 1 D lineman in the portal, and he has not been existent for months. It's just bad vibes. And they gave him that contract too early in the spring, and he needs to be in a CEO role. I think Dion needs to be in a CEO role, and you just need new coaches. And you brought it up earlier. He's really good friends with Pat Shurmur. Are we, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's what we were talking about earlier. Like, come on, you just can't. If you're not succeeding, things need to change.
His loyalty to Pat Shurmur is clear that that's more important than success on the field on the offensive side of the football, at least. So it's bad vibes. And here's the thing. So a report last night from Matt Zenitz from CBS, who's usually right about this stuff, said that they're going to change. They're going to make Juju the starter.
So there's a change.
But are you going to play him the rest of the season and burn his red shirt because you played him in that Delaware game for 2 drives, which was just blasphemous? It was so weird to do that.
So weird.
So now you can only play him in 2 of the last 3 games if you want to save his red shirt, or I guess 1 of the last 2 if he's starting on Saturday. And then somebody asked Dion about that in the press conference. He's like, I don't know what Juju wants. And it's like, this is your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, it's not your job.
How are you not on the same wavelength as your franchise quarterback?
It's insane.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating. And you have these donors who are pouring in all this money because they're so excited about CU football for the first time in 20 years. You have all these fans who are pouring in money and paying for these expensive tickets. They're buying these extra packages pregame to fund the NIL collective. And it's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing. And they just keep taking steps backwards somehow, and nobody looks engaged. And it looks like it's going to be raining in Morgantown this weekend, which is already a hard place to play. You saw West Virginia just took down Houston, who the Buffs looked terrible against Houston this year. Yeah, and that was on the road.
And West Virginia is not a good team either.
They're not great. And they went into Houston and took down Houston when the Buffs went into Houston and got their butt kicked on national TV on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So the Buffs had to go into Morgantown. It's probably going to be raining, and nothing they've done the last 2 weeks has shown anyone that they can keep the game within 4 scores. This feels like 2022, except 2022, that team was supposed to be bad. That team didn't have any good players. The team didn't have a good coach. This was supposed to be different. You were just 9-4, and I get it. You lost Hunter. You lost Sanders. You lost the other guys. But I get that maybe it's supposed to be a little bit of a down year, but like 7-5, 7-5 was kind of a good target. Wait, you're going to be 3-9? You're going to be 4-8? And you're the ultimate bad vibes team. It's not. It's super frustrating what's going on up there, and I just don't know where they go. They can't like our friend Will Peterson here at the station said they should fire him. Who has $33 million in their pocket for that buyout? Nobody in this town has $33 million to pay that buyout. It's weird what the situation they're in.
They're in a bad spot.
And if next year goes good, you get Juju, you get these freshmen who are playing well this year to step up. Maybe it could be different, but this is just not at all how you wanted this year to go. And the vibes are terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's, like you brought up, like they're playing similar to how they played in 2020. At least in 2022, you had some hope. Like you had more hope about like what's to come. Like maybe like you knew
that was
big
23.
Changes.
That was Dion's first.
No, I mean like you knew like 22 like changes were going to be coming. Like,
yes, okay.
Like there were changes that were going to be coming, and then you go out and you get Deion Sanders, and there's the hope paying off right there. There's not that same kind of hope this year where it's like, okay, changes are to come, because we honestly I don't think any changes are going to be made. I just don't. I don't see anything happening soon.
The biggest, the glass half full case that I've seen. So Shurmur, the thing with Shurmur is his contract is up at the end of the season. So maybe they're just going to let that ride out, which is still malpractice, and it's going to cost them a bowl game. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel, Colorado kid, Broncos ball boy back in the 90s. Get him to Boulder, make him the offensive coordinator.
I honestly, I don't know if that would make me feel good. If I saw that, I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be like, okay. So we're just like turning this team into a joke. Like we are. Like we're just like, this is all for fun. Like this is all just like, we're just going out there to play football the same way that I would go out in my backyard when I was a kid and play football. That's how I would look at that. I mean, maybe I'm too much of a Mike McDaniel disbeliever. I think that he's kind of a Tua merchant. But hey, I mean, good could come from it. But
he's innovative.
Yeah, he is innovative. He is, and he's funny. Like he's media. He gets the media, and honestly, you might not be wrong, because if there's one thing that Dion and the Colorado Buffs and Boulder loves, it's those cameras being on him. It's the media.
Yeah.
And Mike McDaniel would bring that. He would want 110% bring that. I'm not saying it's out of the picture. I actually think that's a cool idea to think about. But there's some good to look at on this team. Julian Lewis looked good in a lot of moments this week. There were several moments where he looked really good. Omarion Miller looks like he could be a second-day draft pick, if not a first. Like, he looks really, really good in a lot of ways. It's just they don't have the pieces surrounding those two guys other than a few people on the defense and maybe the offensive line. Like, some of the running backs are solid, but there's just not enough to be hopeful in this team for much longer. I don't know. I really don't know. There's got to be changes.
You got to hope, just in today's era of college football, you just have to pray that the portal doesn't come calling. Because you know how much money a good SEC team would offer Omarion Miller? Do you know how much, like he's good. I will forever be on the Omarion Miller train. As soon as he had that 200-yard performance against USC as a freshman, it's clear that he's good. And he said before the season he wanted to have a Heisman-type season. I think he forgot that Pat Shurmur was his play caller, and that wasn't going to happen. So, and even you see Jeremiah Smith is like 9th in the race right now, and he's having a good season. So, if you can keep him, you got Gibson, you got Farrakhan on offense, you have London Merritt, Alex McPherson on defense, you have Mantrez Walker at linebacker. Like, you have some pieces. It's just the secondary concerns me, the D-line concerns me, and the coaching concerns me. And we'll see how they can combat that. But it's just, I guess the end of this season, I think you're going to have to burn Lewis's red shirt and just play him and just see what you got with him. And like you said, it looked good. That deep touchdown to Omarion Miller was a great ball. It was phenomenal. I was like, holy cow.
That was incredible. It was beautiful.
I was like, they put Shador in there. I was like, we haven't seen that since December last year.
That's the hope that I'm talking about. Like, there's glimmers of it. Like, there's glimpses of it. You could see a little bit of it, but I don't know if we'll have to wait till next. I think that upcoming, like this next week against West Virginia, that's gonna be a game where it's like, okay, this is make or break. Is it Julian Lewis's time to really get take the reins of this team? Or are we just going to continue to see more mediocre, not even mediocre? I won't give them the dignity of calling them mediocre. They've been
bad,
upsettingly terrible performances. So
yeah, they're bad.
It's either one of those two things to come. Either we're going to see the crown being passed on to Julian Lewis, or we're going to see another big failure, and it's not going to be in the middle. We're not going to see a middle ground for there or on each of those performances, but definitely upsetting. I do want to read some of your guys' comments before we end the show today. Good morning, Roy. Always good to see you join the show. Good morning, Joey and Trent. They gave me a heart attack and stroke. LOL. We got to figure things out on the offense. It stinks. I mean, they've got all the pieces that the Broncos, they have all the pieces there. They just don't look consistent. And I think that it really comes down to Bo Nix. As much as it hurts to say, Bo has to be more consistent. I don't know. Am I wrong, Trent? Or is it something exterior that I'm not seeing?
I get that the Texans have a good defense, but he's been inconsistent against bad defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Look
what happened against the Jets. Like, that's what it is. It's consistency. It's got to fall down. It's got to come down to consistency. Matthew, thanks for joining, Matthew. They won't let Nix run until the fourth quarter to let him run throughout the game, loosen up that defense. He does so much better when the defense knows that he may run. This is what we were referencing earlier, what Trent referenced earlier when we were talking about him running. That's entirely correct. It's 110% correct what you're saying here, Matthew. They won't let him run. And I don't know if it's the fact that they're not drawing up designed runs, or if it's Bo just being like, I need to pass this ball every single time. I cannot run until I feel like I need to late in the fourth quarter, where I need to take the reins. I need to take all the weight onto myself. Have that energy the entire game. He needs to feel that he's the guy. You're the quarterback of this team. It's your decision to make whether you run or pass the ball. If you're in a situation where you're looking to pass it, you're looking to throw the ball away, or there's nobody open, run the dang ball, because you can run. Bo Nix can run. So that's just the thing. I think it just needs to be, and it kind of comes down again to that consistency. Be consistent in your ability to run. Don't wait until the fourth quarter to do it every time. I don't know if I'm wrong there. I could be entirely wrong, but that's where my head's at with that one. Let's see. I like this one. Denver played the best defense in the league on the road and won. Houston only allows 15 points per game. Only 2 other opponents have scored 18 points against Houston, and both of those teams are 6-2. No team below a current 3 seed has managed 18 points against the Texans. Denver did the job. You can't score 30 every week. I like that, Mike. Trent, what do you have to say about that one?
And he's right, and it's a good defense, but we're just like, and I get it. This was never supposed to be the Broncos scored 30, but our point that we're trying to make, which we just said it, is it's inconsistent every single week unless it's the Cowboys. It's every single week. It's the Jets. It's the Titans. It's the Texans. It's the Giants. Like, it's just, I get it against bad defenses, but 9 weeks in the season and you got one consistent game against the worst defense in the league is just, that has got to raise some flags for a guy who's supposed to be your franchise quarterback and a guy who you're going to have to think about giving $300 million in 2 years.
Yeah, 100% agree. Last one, Buffs gained a lot of attention with hiring primetime. They could capitalize and hire a good coach that knows how to win. I think that would make a lot of sense 2 years ago. Now you're in a position where it's like, okay, who wants to come coach this team, knowing how poorly it's being ran in a lot of ways. This team is not being coached the right way. Primetime is the head coach, but he's not really the coach. We know that, but he's not a play caller. He's a recruiter. That's what I mean. I don't know if they have that opportunity to go and get somebody other than like Pat Shurmur anymore. I've got a lot of faith that's been lost in this team, and I don't know what big changes could come. Obviously, Trey, you're more tapped in. Obviously, you said Mike McDaniel. Is the coaching really all that there is to it, or is this something bigger?
I think it's coaching. You gotta, and I get that Deion's the guy who's supposed to inspire people, but clearly there's not a lot of people who are inspired on that roster right now. So you got to change the coordinators, and you got to bring in some more freshmen. And they have some good freshmen. They have 3 4-stars coming in next year that they'll be able to pair with the guys who are going to be sophomores next year. But if there's no big coaching changes, obviously Deion's not going to change. We know he's not going to get fired, but the other positions have to change. And if they don't, this is a joke. Like, that's how I'm going to put it. If there's no big change to somebody outside of Deion, whether it's Shurmur or Livingston, this is a complete joke, and they're just doing this. Dan Lanning back in 2023 said they're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. And
not wrong.
You look 2 years later, and they got a bunch of people clicking on them right now because they suck, and they haven't made any changes. It doesn't seem like they're really fighting for any wins right now because they just got blown out in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
People made fun. People got mad at Dan Lanning 2 years ago, but he was right.
Yeah. Not wrong. They're still getting those clicks. They're not getting those wins. Unfortunate to say. Something's got to change. Something's got to break because it's being bent all the way right now. You can only bend so far until something breaks. But that'll do it for today's episode of From the Nosebleeds. Thank you guys all for joining. Make sure again to like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure if you are watching live to comment. We love reading all you guys' comments at the end of the show. Also, make sure to check out our YouTube and our Twitter because a poll will be up today. These polls we react to on every Friday. We get to see some of your comments on the screen, shout you guys out. Make sure to comment and answer our poll for tonight. But that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you guys for joining. We will see you all tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.